So हमारी कहानी स्टार्ट होती है all the way back in PS1 days, a golden age in gaming that is marked by various technical and creative achievements. ये एक ऐसा टाइम था जहाँ पर developers were experimenting and trying to deliver the best possible experience of the targeted genre in a very new third dimension. एक ऐसा टाइम जहाँ पर innovation was at its finest, and जो चीजें mechanics हम आज modern games में देखते हैं originated from here, जिसकी वजह से कई genres को अपना major breakthrough मिला, one of them being stealth. And to be specific, 1998 was the year for stealth games. ये ऐसा साल था जहाँ पर many groundbreaking stealth games saw their release. On one hand, Metal Gear Solid became the luxury of PS1 owners, so on the other hand, Thief blew everyone away with its lighting and first-person stealth. However, even before these, एक छोटी सी गेम रिलीज करी गई थी, एक ऐसी गेम जिसके पास टाइटल है of not only being the first 3D stealth action game, but also of being a true ninja simulator. एक ऐसी गेम that although was not to the same level of successful as either MGS or Thief, but still left its legacy on the gaming space. And that is none other than Tenchu Stealth Assassins. Tenchu, एक ऐसी गेम that although at the time of release was revolutionary, but never really got the praise it needed, or in my opinion, it rightfully deserved. Since its original 98 release, Tenchu is regarded as the hidden gem, a sort of a legendary game among ninja lovers. It was one of the first and few games where your ninja wasn't some highly skilled soldier slicing and dicing his way through the enemy, but rather a trained assassin who dies with honor and kills by stealth. सिर्फ इतना ही नहीं, it also was the first stealth game to focus on sandbox approach opposed to linear tactical espionage that most games at the time were built upon. लेकिन time to keep it all aside because we are about to ask some questions. Has the level design aged well? Is the gameplay still solid? And most importantly, क्या ये तुम्हारे मतलब की गेम है या नहीं? Let's begin. So as usual about the story, and let me tell you one thing, अगर तुम में से कोई ये गेम स्टोरी के लिए खेलना चाहता है तो प्लीज मत खेलो, because honestly it really isn't that great. Plot is non-existent, characters are shallow as hell, the presentation has aged, and voice acting is somehow even worse than Resident Evil, a game criticized for bad voice acting at the time when voice acting at that time used to be shitty. It's just out of my mind how you can surpass even that shit. Although one of the protagonists named Rikimaru had a decent enough casting, but Ayame, oh my fucking god.
Who are you?
You've been a bad boy. It's payback time. Now where did that lecher soul goat go and hide himself?
As for the plot, it really doesn't have one. Just you doing random ninja stuff till some demons appear out of nowhere and kidnap your master Lord Koda's daughter, led by an oversized mukbang YouTuber and a Michael Jackson fan. As for the characters, the only character I truly liked was Rikimaru because of his way of treating his opponent with respect and a sense of honor. Baki characters due to the non-existent plot are pretty forgettable, and Ayame is fucking annoying. Although I do appreciate the attention to detail they went with each character. You see, if you are playing as Rikimaru and complete the mission to assassinate the corrupt minister, so that guy actually surrenders to him and accepts his honorable demise. However, अगर ये same mission तुम as Ayame खेलते हो, तो she pisses him off to such an extent that it becomes a boss fight. But in spite of it, story is the literal definition of garbage, and worst of all, it's unskippable, which especially becomes a bummer on repeat playthroughs. I mean, why I have to see Ichigo's twerk for the 15th time? Lekin, time to wrap it all up because it's time for some discussion on the gameplay. And let me tell you one thing, it's ahead of its time. But before discussing that, मैं तुम्हें recommend करूंगा to first go to the options menu and enable the autosave. Also, if you have time, do experiment with the tutorial missions first before jumping into the game itself. Anyways, if you did all of that, you are safe to start the game. And without wasting any of your precious time, this game immediately asks you to choose your character, gives you your mission instructions in a very ninja-like manner, and asks you to choose your inventory. This is where you finally get the taste of all of the items you possess and can carry on a mission. By default तुम्हारे पास रहता है your most trusted grapple hook, जो गेम में हर एक मिशन में तुम्हारा साथ देगा, and can attach to any building and wall provided कि तुम उस point of attachment से थोड़ा नीचे खड़े हो. But beware, it has certain range. इसके अलावा you begin with 7 common items, namely shurikens that allows you to attack enemy from a distance and also easily disposes of smaller enemies like dogs. Healing potion that has its obvious use. Calotop that allows you to stun bosses or pursuers, thereby allowing you to either deal a damage or make a timely escape. But बच के रहना because वो तुम्हें भी damage कर सकती हैं. Grenade explodes on impact. Smoke bomb stuns your enemies. Color Drive allows you to mark the locations, which although is pretty useless considering you get a map for each mission. And finally, you get Poison Rice, which is used to distract the enemy, also gives them a stomachache when eaten, and you sure as hell mark my words, ये इस गेम का most overpowered item है. लेकिन मेरी रिकमेंडेशन है कि तुम अभी कोई भी आइटम यूज मत करो because of the reasons I will get into later. After all of it, you finally start the game and are immediately thrown into the game's sandbox, where you are left on your own to carry out the missions the way you like. You are the controller of your own pace, and ये कंट्रोल तुमसे कभी वापस नहीं लिया जाता until the very end. तुम्हें बस एक ऑब्जेक्टिव मिला है, and how you complete it is totally your headache. Level design being so wide open just makes this game infinitely replayable, and to top it all off, you have an extra layer of depth attached to it. जैसा कि मैंने तुम्हें पहले आइटम्स के बारे में बताया था, they act as a direct medium of interaction between the player and the environment. जहाँ पर grapple hook इस गेम को उसका solid gameplay look देता है of going from rooftop to rooftop, hunting down your targets and choosing which one to pick up next, तो वहीं पर Poison Rice makes it extremely fun to toy around with enemies. Not to mention other items in the game which I will discuss upon later. अब for a PS1 game, depth यहीं पर आकर खत्म हो जानी चाहिए, but the thing is, it still is a lot deeper. अगर तुम अपने D-pad पे चलते वक्त डबल टैप करते हो तो you can do dash in the desired direction. Similarly, अगर तुम crouch करते वक्त ऐसा करते हो तो you will do rolls in the desired direction. अगर तुम डबल टैप करके जंप बटन दबाते हो तो you will do a long jump. वहीं पर अगर तुम jump and crouch साथ में सिलेक्ट करते हो तो you will do a quick turn. And finally, अगर तुम wall के against crouch करते हो तो your character can stick to the wall and see around the corner. Heck, even the combat has a lot of depth. You first start with basic slash, but if you double tap, you can do a variety of moves like stabbing, side slash and uppercut, that is if you crouch and slash. Also, you can block the upcoming attacks by holding the down button. Another thing that I do have to praise this game for is its key control scheme. You move with the D-pad as usual, use triangle to use the selected items, select to open a map, start to pause, square to attack, cross to jump, L2 or R2 to change the selected item, L1 for a free rotatable camera that allows you to stalk your targets and look around the corner, and finally for the circle button, it serves the same purpose as R1, which is so solid for a third-person PS1 stealth game with the camera that follows the player. अब ये सब तो हो गया basic stuff, but the major reason you will become addicted to this game is because of its highly satisfying and rewarding gameplay. You see, अगर तुम इस गेम को पेशेंस के बिना खेलते हो, तो you will often find yourself getting spotted. However, अगर तुम पेशेंस के साथ इस गेम के हर एक मैकेनिक को समझते हो and उसे मास्टर करते हो, तो you will be highly rewarded as well. अगर तुम किसी एनिमी को डायरेक्टली कन्फ्रंट करते हो, तो it's a do and die battle between you and him. लेकिन if you wait for the right moment, you have a chance to stealth kill them. जहाँ पर they would have taken several hits in one-on-one battle, with stealth, it's a single shot. Also, अगर तुम अपनी टाइमिंग सही रखते हो, तो you will also perform these brutal takedowns, which by the way also changes depending on from which camera angle you approach them, thereby rewarding you with pure satisfaction for being stealthy. And to add cherry on the top, you have a ranking system that is nothing short of perfection. Tenchu की philosophy of rewarding you for your skills is at its peak in this regard. You see, अगर तुम पेशेंस के साथ लेवल्स को मास्टर करने में टाइम इन्वेस्ट करते हो, तो you will be rewarded with a higher rank, which grants you with one number of existing items in your inventory. Heck, even further than this, if you manage to get a Grandmaster, that's the highest rank in the game, you will be rewarded with a special item which are all sorts of cool and amazing gadgets. Another great thing about this ranking system is how open-ended it is. तुम्हें Grandmaster rank पाने के लिए just have to score more than 400 points, and how you achieve it is totally up to you. Either do not get spotted even once and avoid any confrontation with the enemies, either sneak kill almost every guard in the outpost, या फिर even strike a perfect balance between the two. As you can conclude from all of the above remarks, Tenchu is a highly replayable game, and just to slightly up that scale, you also have two playable characters. भले ही दोनों की स्टोरी 95% of the time similar है, but दोनों के गेम प्ले में कुछ simple changes करे गए हैं, which makes them feel different from each other. Ayame is a lot faster and agile than Rikimaru, but on the flip side, Rikimaru is much stronger in comparison. With all of this stuff, Tenchu really excels at being a solid ninja simulator, and to top it all off, you have hands down one of the best music to be ever used in a game, which further enhances that ninja-like atmosphere. Theme of Mission 5 being my favorite. यार all of it is great, but ये बता, what about the enemy AI? And well, they are pretty meh. But honestly, it's not a major bummer, which I will get into soon enough. So first of all, AI operates in a very similar fashion as many modern games like Far Cry. तुम्हारे पास एक की मीटर है जो एनिमी का अलर्ट स्टेटस एंड वो तुमसे कितनी दूर है ये शो करता है. अगर तुम्हारे पास ब्लू क्वेश्चन मार्क है तो इट मींस दे आर स्टिल अनअवेयर ऑफ योर प्रेजेंस एंड इसी फेज में तुम्हारे और उनके बीच का फासला शो होता है. अगर तुम येलो एक्सक्लेमेशन मार्क पे हो तो इट मींस दे आर सस्पिशियस ऑफ सीइंग समथिंग एंड आर सून कमिंग टू इन्वेस्टिगेट. पर्पल एक्सक्लेमेशन एंड क्वेश्चन मार्क मींस दे आइदर डिस्कवर्ड अ डेड बॉडी और आर अवेयर ऑफ योर प्रेजेंस, but they still don't know where you are. And lastly, 2 red exclamation mark means you have been spotted and now they are right up your ass. Now, ये सब तो ठीक है, but on the other hand, they are way too fucking dumb. Most of the time, these guys are either stuck because of a wall and other times they can't even figure out who killed their partner, who by the way, couple of minutes ago was standing right beside them. But then again, this doesn't bother me much because major point of this game is its gameplay loop and insane replayability. In the similar way you play Hitman games for their replayable as fuck levels, not its basic AI. I mean sure, stealth games में AI एक important component है, but they shouldn't be too smart to ruin a game, especially in a game that is all about you being a predator. अगर तुम अच्छी AI वाली stealth games खेलना चाहते हो तो I would suggest to rather play MGS or Splinter Cell. However, the problem with this AI is its unpredictability. On one hand, they can't spot you when it was the most obvious. On the other, they can spot you when you were least imagined. Heck, some of them can literally clip through the walls and spot you when there was literally no point of eye contact. You see, Tenchu also feels like a game that was way ahead of its time, such that the hardware it was on couldn't accommodate for it. The draw distance in this game is absolutely horrendous. There are so many times where the bad draw distance would often result in enemies spotting you before you could actually see them. And especially if you are a newcomer, you are gonna struggle with it a lot. And while talking in regard to newcomers, तुम्हें याद है कि मैंने तुम्हें कहा था कि not to use the items on the first playthrough? The reason I said it is because while on one hand this game is extremely rewarding to the skilled players, on the other it's extremely brutal to newcomers. You see, अगर तुम एक मिशन के दौरान मारे जाते हो तो except for the grapple hook, you will lose every single item you carried on that mission. जिसकी वजह से by the time you reach the end, you will be totally bankrupt. सिर्फ इतना ही नहीं, अगर तुम एक मिशन में अच्छी रैंक स्कोर नहीं करते हो तो you will also fall in the same pit. Also, while I did praise the control scheme, I cannot praise the controls themselves. Unfortunately, ये गेम एक ऐसे टाइम पे रिलीज करी गई थी where dual shock wasn't a thing. So instead of this, we had this abomination called classic controller. So the ultimate option truly available was nothing but the tank controls. And when you combine it with a game that is fully 3D rendered and a camera that is always behind the player's back, you get the same feeling as Amber Heard's dog when he stepped on a bee. In a similar fashion, while the combat is pretty deep, it is also clunky as fuck. And this game also has a bad habit of throwing a boss fight at the end of nearly every stage, which although isn't that bad in itself, but Clunky Combat ruins the fun, especially the final boss. Oh my god, this guy can literally stun lock you at times. And before wrapping it up, I would like to take some time and rank/rate all the stages according to the quality. सबसे पहले है Punish the Evil Merchant, which honestly is a perfect introduction to game's level design and sandbox, easily one of the top highlights in the entire game. अगला है हमारा Deliver the Secret Message, which has a lot of potential, is a great level, but is ultimately ruined by the annoying enemy placements. Next comes Rescue the Captive Ninja, and honestly speaking, the third worst level in the entire game, which totally opposes the type of level design the game is aiming for. But hopefully, next mission cross the checkpoint in spite of its different approach is quite good. Next comes Mission 5, Execute the Corrupt Minister, which has to be the third best mission in the entire game and best for its atmosphere alone. उसके बाद है Infiltrate the Manji Cult, which is good enough, but do not expect some greatness to the level of next one, Destroy the Foreign Pirate, which has to be the best mission in the entire game thanks to its tighter yet fair enemy placements and a solid level design with much more aware enemies. Immediately followed by the worst mission in the entire game, Cure the Princess. They really dropped the ball with the level design in this one, but hopefully the next mission, Reclaim the Castle, is the second best in the entire game. However, your happiness is cut short when the most linear, second worst, and the most disappointing final level, that is Free the Princess, comes into the play and ends the game on a weaker note. And now time है वीडियो को conclude करने का with the final verdict. Tenchu Stealth Assassins is one of my favorite games of all time. I absolutely loved the gameplay loop, the sandbox stealth, and banger of a music. but it's not a kind of game that I would recommend to everyone. This game comes close to being a masterpiece, only to miss it thanks to its age. If you are someone like me, you would adore this game for what it is, while others would hate it for its dated controls, horrendous draw distance, and pretty clunky combat. Nonetheless, I think Tenchu is still a good game, an 8 out of 10, and for sure worth playing if you are willing to give it a second chance or invest a lot of time in it. Also क्योंकि ये गेम सबके लिए नहीं बनी है, मैं सोच रहा था कि तुम्हें गेम प्ले की फॉर्म में इस गेम की बिगनर टिप्स दे दूं ताकि तुम अपने प्लेथ्रू को अच्छे से एंजॉय कर पाओ. एंड देयर यू हैव इट माय गुड ओल्ड बडीज. वीडियो पसंद आया लाइक करो, चैनल पे नए हो सब्सक्राइब करो, एंड आई विल सी यू गाइस इन द नेक्स्ट वीडियो. गुड बाय.